What's good everyone, and welcome back to Chefkoch, your go-to channel for exploring the meaning, history and culture behind rap music, one story at a time. Leave a like and a sub if you enjoy content like this, join my community Discord through the link in the description, follow my brand new Instagram for more rap videos, and now sit back and enjoy today's video in which we're going to talk about the trailblazer of medieval trap, Zukenee. Zukenee is an artist from Cobb County, Atlanta, and in his childhood he listened to a lot of Tupac and Biggie, so he always was surrounded by rap music. And then he discovered Lil Wayne in the Atlanta trap scene with artists like 21 Savage, Bankroll Fresh, Future, Gucci Mane, Playboi Carti, Young Nudy and Young Thug, who remain some of his primary musical influences to this day. Zukenee's first public songs trace back to 2020 on SoundCloud, and back then he was making plug and regular trap music. He also was collabing with rapper Hard Rock very early on and started making ambient trap, sonically influenced by the Sorloni and the before mentioned Hard Rock, visible on songs like One Day from December 2023. And as further highlights of his early discography, I want to mention the album Playful from November 2022, which goes into the rage and experimental trap sonority. Now jumping to March 2024, another great release has to be the record Player Slayer, which features mostly trap and new jazz songs. And then in mid 2024, Zukenee did a full 180 and switched his sound and aesthetics around, because he said he didn't even listen to his own music outside of the studio, so he wanted to change things and created a new subgenre he himself birthed, medieval trap, which fuses percussion from 2000s Atlanta trap music together with actual European medieval sounding instruments like flutes or violins. This aesthetic is also visible in Zukenee's music videos that show him dressed in a knight's armor and incorporate elements from medieval art. And the style, which Zukenee also calls slay life, was inspired by Renaissance paintings as well, and the world building from video games like Assassin's Creed. So the scene setting of the subgenre slash aesthetic is really interesting and refreshing for the current underground rap scenes in my opinion. Zukenee also altered his lingo to fit his new sound. Yes, he has the classic street level narratives, but his lyrics also include a fantastic imagery. So whenever Zu raps about a big and expensive car, it's a carriage. If he raps about a sports car, it's a horse. If he's in the studio, it becomes a dungeon. Next to that, you won't see Zu showing off designer clothes or guns. He's flexing fancy candles, his chainmail, silver gauntlets and actual swords. And the first album that featured Zukenee's new style was called Guillotine and dropped in August 2024. However, Zu was not done that year, since he also released Birth of Saint Slay in November 2024, which is a very solid tape in my opinion. On here, Zukenee really polished the medieval trap soundscape with bangers like Mary Kate or Chainmail. However, my favorite song on here has to be Slayer Disease. The flute melody goes stupid. Personally, I really like the Birth of Saint Slay album. I think that Zukenee has great flows and sounds very confident on the songs. But I also need to highlight the production of the entire record. Saint Slay has really great instrumentals thanks to very talented beatmakers like Zu's main producer Kate, but also Desmos, Safari and True Beats amongst others. Moving on, let's talk about the album Slaytanic from April 2025. To me, this record sounds like 2000s Atlanta trap mixed with Dirty South and late 90s bounce. Basically like Gucci Mane fused with very early Lil Wayne, which is a very tough combination honestly. Slaytanic also clearly pays homage to Weezy's pen game due to funny bars like money longer than a Sudanese slim dude. And again, the production on here is amazing thanks to talented beatmakers Kate, Kado, Murder Beats and Soprano amongst others. And last but not least, let's talk about Zukenee's most recent album Night Shift from November 2025. There are only 10 songs on here, however Night Shift might be his most polished record yet. The medieval trap sonority is on point here, and my favorite song has to be What You Doin'. With that, we covered my personal highlights of Zukenee's solo discography, but he also accumulated a lot of great features over the years. Zukenee is very tapped into the current underground since he already collabed with Lade, Lifeless Garments, Neezus, Nick Andre, Daredevil, Rodney, Skatestar, Tellin' Where You At or 13 Degrees. Next to that, he was featured on Georgia Bulldog by Uno the Activist from March 2025, as well as on board games by Cardigot Wings from his recent producer tape that came out in September 2025, and on Switch It together with Yeet from Benny X's EP Loading from October 2025. This song actually accumulated almost 3 million streams and therefore put Zukenee on a lot of people's radar. And in my opinion, Zu has to be one of the most interesting newcomers currently, alongside Apollo Red 1, Diamond, PZ, 7:30 at Morning and Teasers. Now 2025 already was an amazing year for Zu, since he jumped from 5,000 monthly listeners all the way up to 280,000. And I think that he's going to have a great 2026 as well if he stays consistent, but what's fair to say is that his willingness to experiment with different soundscapes and to become a trailblazer by creating new aesthetics like the medieval trap style sets Zukenee apart from the rest of the underground, solidifying his role as rap's newest knight in shining armor. And with that being said, thank you so much for watching this video till the end, leave a like if you enjoyed it and don't forget to subscribe to the channel, that helps me out a lot. Cheers!